pick it up with part 2, and then we'll wrap up the plea hearing. All right, let's go.
And other trace evidence, but it's important to note single was on the snap of that sheath. The state's evidence would show that Xana Knodel was still awake at this time. In fact, had taken a DoorDash order not long before this started. Her room was not on the 3rd floor. It was on the 2nd floor on the west side. As the defendant was either coming down the stairs or leaving, he encountered Xana, and he ended up killing her, also with a large knife.
Mm-hmm.
Ethan Chapin, Xana's boyfriend, was asleep in their bedroom, in her bedroom, and the defendant killed him as well, with a large fixed-blade knife.
Sure.
Each victim suffered multiple wounds. I will state for the record that there is no evidence there was any sexual component or sexual assault on any of the victims. I want to make that clear so there's no speculation.
How about multiple weapons?
There were 2 other roommates in the house.
No.
They were already asleep.
Multiple weapons?
During the course of this, one of those roommates awoke, looked out at her door, not knowing what was going on, and saw the defendant, who was dressed in black, with black balaclava on, holding some sort of container in his hand. And she saw him leave the house through the direction of the kitchen to where the sliding door.
What about the cleanup? Where's the cleanup?
At approximately 4:20 that morning.
4:20. 4:05, 4:20.
So this would have been
He's still parked.
minutes or so later.
He's still parking at 4:05.
Defendant's car is seen on a surveillance camera
Right,
near 1112 King Road, which is immediately next door to the west of 1122, leaving the area at a high rate of speed.
All right, hang on, guys. Hang on. So, remember, 4:05. 4:05. He's still looking for front row parking right in front of the house. 4:05. He hasn't parked yet. And then they're saying he's leaving at 4:20 at a high rate of speed. Right? High rate of speed. So he hasn't parked yet at 4:05, but at 4:20 he's out of there. Right? That's what he said. Again, how long is it going to take you to park? Go in the house, do what you got to do, exit the house, go back in your car, and speed off at 4:20. Now, right there, you tell me, is that possible? Is that possible? You haven't even parked your car yet at 4:05, according to this fucking Santa, right? According to this idiot, this all the corrupt bullshit, right? All that. So he hasn't even parked yet at 4:05, but yet he's speeding away at 4:20. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, oh yeah, where's the cleanup, Bill? What happened to the cleanup? You forgot to mention the cleanup by Dylan's door. Where's that? That was in the PCA. That was in the Detective Payne's piece of shit story. Yeah, where's the cleanup, Bill? By Dylan's door. Anyway, hasn't even parked yet at 4:05, but yet he's speeding away at 4:20. Unalives 4 people, leaves a witness alive, participates in a cleanup in less than what? Go right in less than what? Anyway, let's go on with the show.
Or anybody in this courtroom.
Nosferatu.
The car almost loses control.
Ashley, why do you forsake MD? Why do you hate MD so much, Ashley? Santa Claus, why do you hate MD? I don't know.
The evidence would show.
Why are you so corrupt?
That, the defendant in his Elantra.
Brian, why you do it, Brian?
South of Moscow. We know that he drove on the back roads because there are surveillance cameras on the main highways.
And Taylor, why you hurt MD? I don't understand.
And they did not show the defendant's car on that route during the time. So we know that he went through a variety of back roads in very rural, isolated part of Latah County. About 4:48 that morning.
Okay.
The defendant's phone comes back on.
This is a rock solid case we're pleading guilty to.
Located south of Moscow, likely at a side road intersection with Highway 95. From there, the defendant's phone activity tracks heading back north towards Pullman, Washington, where the defendant lived. About 5:26, starting approximately 5:26, various surveillance cameras in Pullman, Washington pick up the defendant's vehicle as he enters Pullman from the south and heads north and slightly west towards his apartment, where he arrived at approximately 5:30 in the morning.
Nosferatu.
Later that morning, Sunday,
Mr. Barlow's monster.
2022, Mr. Kohberger's phone returned to the area of King Road.
Ashley, I can't see your blurry face.
About 9 o'clock in the morning. He was there for about 10 minutes and then returned to
How you doing there, buddy?
About 9:30, the state's evidence will show, evidence taken from the defendant's phone, that he took a selfie of himself on his phone in what appears to be the bathroom of his Pullman apartment.
So what?
With a thumbs up.
Right. To his mother. Right. To his mother. Right. To his mom.
The defendant's phone.
That's not evidence.
Lewis and Clarkston Valley, approximately 30 miles south of Moscow.
Lewis and Clark? What? Lewis and Clark?
The defendant is actually seen with his car at various businesses down there. This area is the confluence of the Clearwater River and the Snake River.
Oh, snakes, all right. Snake River, all right.
Large bodies of moving water down there. In addition to tracing the defendant's activities, as I've just outlined,
he looks real happy, doesn't he? Yeah. What a chump this guy. What a pal.
Following Sunday, November 13th, 2022, business records show that the defendant began searching for a K-bar knife and a K-bar knife sheath.
Oh, my God.
As the state believes, to replace the one that was left.
Where is it? I'm sorry, where is it?
The evidence also will suggest that there were at least attempts by the defendant to delete or alter his purchase history on Amazon, where all these transactions had occurred. Later that week,
where's the evidence?
That Mr. Kohberger went to what we would call DMV, motor vehicle license.
Right, to change his registration.
In Pullman.
Right.
To change his car registration.
Right, because it was expiring. Right.
To Washington.
Right, because he lived there.
That's of note, because Pennsylvania cars do not require a front license plate.
Many other states don't either.
Surveillance cameras of the defendant's car showed it didn't have a front license plate on it. At the time of the traffic stop by Deputy Duke in August, it was Pennsylvania plate, no front license plate.
Doesn't matter. Irrelevant.
Mr. Kohberger proceeded to finish his semester of studies at Washington State University and returned to Pennsylvania for the holidays. Law enforcement at this point were aware of Mr. Kohberger, had been accessing information about him, were trying to find him. They located him in Pennsylvania.
Based on what? Based on what, Bill?
During the nighttime hours, agents of the FBI who assisted immensely.
A white car.
In this case.
Maybe white. Could be green. Who knows?
Back in this neighborhood in Pennsylvania,
Ashley!
Took trash that had been set out on the street for collection. Sent the contents of that from the Pennsylvania residents.
I want to suck your blood, baby. Look at me.
To the
I'm a handsome judge, love.
Laboratory, where the lab experts there were able to identify DNA on a Q-tip as coming from the father of the person whose DNA was found on the knife sheath that was next to Madison Logan's body in the bed. Subsequently, an arrest warrant was issued here in Idaho, and a search warrant was issued in the state of Pennsylvania with the assistance not only of the FBI, but the Pennsylvania State Police. Mr. Kohberger was arrested at his parents' home to return to Idaho. Upon his return to Idaho, a DNA sample was taken, and it matched the DNA found on the knife sheath next to Maddie's body.
Sure.
At the crime scene.
Yeah, where's the proof?
I can tell the court.
Where's the evidence?
The public, the weapon itself, the knife, has not yet been recovered.
Where's it? Ask him.
I can tell the court that the defendant's apartment in Pullman was searched, as well as his office.
Yep, nothing found.
Spartan would be a kind characterization. There was virtually nothing there. Nothing of evidentiary value was found.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, we are now talking 6-8 weeks after the time of the killings. In Pennsylvania, the defendant's car was seized, and it was actually pretty much disassembled.
Of course it was.
And it also had been cleaned. There was a bucket of cleaner right beside it.
Right, my ass. Come on.
I think we can all
speculation. We don't know that.
You know, in those compartments apartments and the doors.
We don't know that.
Try to keep them clean where you put stuff.
Yeah.
There's always some degree of crud in there. They're spotless.
Yeah, of course.
Vince's car had been meticulously cleaned inside.
Hang on, guys. Hang on, guys.
Would present to the jury that was part.
Yeah, the only way you're gonna get your car that clean, okay, from DNA, fiber, blood, whatever, hair, whatever, you would have to literally burn your car out just to be on the safe side. So, yeah, you're not gonna have a little bucket with you and a rag, and you're gonna take. Come on, guys, come on. You literally would have to take your car apart as well in order to make sure there's nothing in any nooks, crannies, anywhere in that car. You'd literally have to take it apart yourself. So, yeah, a little rag and a bucket ain't gonna clean up everything you want to clean up. I'm just saying. Of course, he did have the benefit of time, so still a little bucket and a rag. Yeah, that's I don't. Little bucket and a rag. We're gonna clean the whole car of DNA, blood, fiber. I don't know, guys. I would feel more secure just burning my car, just to make sure. Anyway, the point is they didn't find any evidence. That's the point. Yeah, this case is really strong, isn't it, guys? Really strong case here we got of circumstantial nothingness.
Part of the defendant's plan in covering up this. The defendant has studied crime. In fact, he did a detailed paper on crime scene processing when he was working.
Because he was a student. Because he was a student.
That knowledge and skill.
Right, because he was a student.
So, Your Honor, at the end,
you fucking moron.
The state submits the evidence that I've given just a quick overview.
What evidence? Where's the evidence? Brian, what are you doing? What evidence, Brian?
Would show that as the defendant submitted and pleaded guilty.
What did you do, Ann?
November 13th, 2022. Excuse me.
Oh, Bill, come on now. Ashley, don't pray. My father hates me, Ashley. Does your father hate you, Ashley? Look at your face.
He intended to commit all of the murders that he did that night, but we know that is what resulted. And that he then killed intentionally, willfully, deliberately, with premeditation, and with malice forethought. Manny Mogan.
With no motive. With no motive, Bill.
Ethan Chapin.
Where's your motive, Bill?
Thank you.
Oh, you're pathetic. What motive, Bill? What motive, Santa? Knock it off. Knock it off. What a show. What a show. Okay, Nosferatu, what do you got?
All right. Based on the state's proffer and, importantly, based upon defendant's explicit admission to committing these crimes, the court finds there is a factual basis.
What is that on the wall?
For,
clean that up.
With respect to count one, burglary,
what is that?
Felony. How do you plead, Mr. Kohberger, guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
As to count two,
don't do it, Brian.
In the first degree, as it relates to the murder of Madison Mogan, how do you plead, guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
As to count three, as it relates to murder in the first degree for the murder of Kaylee Gonzalez, how do you plead, guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
As to count four, the first degree murder of Xana Kernodle, a human being, how do you plead, guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
As to count five, the first degree murder of Ethan Chapin, a human being, how do you plead, guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
Right. The court will find that the defendant understands the nature of the charges and each offense and the possible consequences to him of his guilty plea. The court finds that there is a factual basis for the plea and that finds the defendant believes the plea to be in his best interest. I find that the plea was given freely, voluntarily, and was intelligently made. I accept the plea. I direct that it be entered. I'll continue the matter for sentencing in this case.
July 23rd.
I think it was mentioned on the call Monday afternoon.
All right, that's it, guys. July 23rd.
Investigation, is that accurate?
Yes, Your Honor.
Is a sentencing hearing.
The state also?
Yes, Your Honor. The state does not believe a pre-sentence investigation is needed given the evidence that is available. We want to, though, make sure that all of the victims have the opportunity to make statements at the court at sentencing.
Absolutely. And certainly both the state and the defense may present whatever sentencing memorandum and other documents.
All right, guys, that's it. That's pretty much it. They go on the schedule. It's going to be July 23rd. That's when the hearing is. Sentence hearing. So yeah, that was some powerful evidence you heard there. Yeah. That's what we call a weak circumstantial case. That's what we call it. That's right, circumstance. Weak circumstantial case. Very weak. Very weak. And we still don't know how they got to DNA. He forgot to mention the FBI's illegal process of going to those genealogy websites and just happen to just take whatever data they want. Yeah, I forgot that part and a bunch of other parts. And yeah. Oh, no mention of Dylan, all her nonsense, all her bullshit statements, Yeah. Again, still trying to find a parking space after 4:05, still hasn't parked his car, but yet his car is speeding away at 4:20. Okay, guys. Anyway, we'll leave it right there. It still doesn't make any sense, does it? Nope. So when does he park his car? What? 4:08 parks his car? Leaves at 4:20. Right? There you go. I'm being generous there. Little 3 minutes to park the car. Again, 12 minutes. Remember, 12 minutes. Generous. Speeding away at 4:20. Remember, 4:20, he's gone. 12 minutes to do all that. Anyway, there you go, guys. Sorry to keep hammering that point, but that makes no sense. Again, with the cleanup, all the lies Dylan told in her multiple interrogations, or well, not interrogations, cream puff interviews. Yeah. So there you go. And we pled guilty to what? What do we plead guilty to? I don't get it. Why are we? Anyway, that's all for that. No more of that. Sentence hearing is again July 23rd. And of course, we all know what's going to happen there. He's going to get life in prison without the possibility of parole. He rejects all appeals. All right. Hey, we keep going. Don't make any sense, does it? They need to unseal everything, and we need to find out step by step how this was committed. Where's the knife? You could just ask him. He pled guilty. Where is it? Where's the knife? Where's the rest of the stuff? All right. Anyway, I love you all. Hey, have a beautiful, beautiful day today if you're celebrating July 4th. Hope you have a wonderful July 4th. Be safe. Be safe. All right. Hey, firecrackers can be dangerous, guys. We don't want anybody blowing their hand off, okay? All right. Especially Tyrone, especially my lovelies. My lovelies, listen, don't blow your hand off with a big firecracker, okay? Unless it's after midnight. All right. Oh, my God, Lilies, you're so bad. I love you all. Okay, bye-bye.